Good evening, Ganesh. How are you? I'm also good. Thank you so very much. We were discussing in the last class about derivatives. Any questions about the concept that we were discussing? No questions? Did you get time to study? After the exam preparatory, were you able to study the concept of derivatives a little? I am planning to finish off your syllabus somewhere towards the end of October, or maybe because of the festive season, if we have some class rescheduling, then maybe in early November. So after that, you would be getting 2 months time to revise your complete syllabus again, and we would be doing a lot of exam preparatories at that time as well. So the idea is that you have to work along with, you have to right now work along with the topic which we are discussing, and then you can again revise it. So in the derivatives and commodities market, we had discussed about the concept of derivatives as such. We discussed the difference between the futures and the forward contracts. We also discussed about what kind of positions can be taken in this kind of a market, how it can be used for hedging purposes, right? Now, did you try again to do that question which I had given to you in the exam preparatory? After completion, only exam preparatory classes. No, as usual, whatever is going on will keep on going on. And after we finish off with the syllabus, we'll be having the second round of exam preparatory. Okay? This chapter is a bit tough. टफ तो अब आज शुरू करना है हमने, अभी तक तो इजी पढ़ा रहे थे. No, after the finishing of syllabus, there will not be any live classes, but we would be having the exam preparatories. Yes, and we can have the discussion sessions definitely. This will be like we will first finish off with the syllabus, then I would like to give more time to ATLP because there we need more time to finish off with the syllabus. So so then what we will do, the plan is that once we finish off with FTFM, because now after derivatives we will be having only one chapter to finish off with, then we would be teaching ATLP for 3 days in a week. Now, after finishing off with both ATLP and FTFM, then we would be having discussion classes of both ATLP as well as FTFM. That would be once in a week kind of. And more exam preparatories. Okay? Just 1 second. I'll have to maybe stop the video for a minute. Which is your elective, Ganesh? Banking law and practice. Okay. In the area of banking law and practice, it's a very interesting area rather. I can also provide you with some insights. Once I finish off with the syllabus of FTFM, then I think on one day I can keep a session for only those students who are preparing for banking law and practice, so that I can give you some insights into that topic and give you some reference material also there, because I have been teaching this paper not in the company law in the company's ICSI syllabus, But otherwise, as for management programs, I've taught this paper for a very long period of time. So I have my own understanding of this particular subject, and I've seen that in cases and all, there are similar cases that we discuss in the management programs, which are being asked in this banking law and practice paper. So who all have got banking as a specialization, as a elective? How about international banking law and practice? What does this mean? International business laws. Which do we have this paper? Yes, Sindhura, I was not able to get the message completely. Ma'am, please guide me in BLP, otherwise Mary Lutia. I said I will be doing that. Don't worry about that. Okay? But once that will be only after I finish off with the syllabus. Chaliye. So in case then that will be open for everybody, whosoever has got banking law as a paper. It would be only in one exam preparatory. I'll try to give you as much as I can. Remaining you have to study on your own. Chaliye ji. So can we start the topic for today? Can we start? Okay. So in the last class we were discussing about the difference between forwards and futures. No, it's perfectly alright. So we were talking about the difference between forwards and future, and we said that the key element for a future contract is the price at which the future will be settled, the settlement date because it is fixed in advance and you cannot choose that date, and the underlying that is there in forwards as well as the futures. Now again, as we discussed earlier when we were discussing about the forward contracts, we said that Jay and Viru, they enter into a contract to buy one share of Infosys, right? Now supposing if this particular contract would have taken through the stock exchange, in that situation, the clearing corporation or the clearing house becomes the counterparty to this kind of a contract, and then it will be called a futures contract. So the difference between forwards and futures we had already discussed. Now I'm just trying to understand how are futures priced. That means basically in the spot market we know what is the price going on, and you know that it is decided by the forces of demand and supply, right? So in the futures market, how are we going to calculate the price, or does it have any relationship with the spot market price? If I'm saying that in the spot market the share of Infosys is available for say 1500 rupees, then in the futures market shouldn't it be very close to that 1500? Isn't it? It should have some relationship with the spot market price, definitely. So in order to understand how these futures are priced, we have to understand the concept called cost of carry. Cost of carry means that someone who is entering into a futures contract is entering into a commitment which will be fulfilled after a particular period of time. So during this period of time, what is the interest cost? What is, supposing I bought Infosys shares today and enter into an agreement with you to sell these shares to you after a period of 3 months. Now I have invested my money today. I am saying that I will be selling these shares to you after 3 months because you require it after 3 months. So in my cost, I must add the interest cost for the period of 3 months, isn't it? Because I am going to keep it for you for a period of 3 months. So my money is blocked for a period of 3 months. So in that situation, I must add the interest cost for a period of 3 months. But then you would say that, okay, that means that you've purchased the shares for me and you're keeping it with yourself for a period of 3 months and then you would be giving it to me. I said yes. But in that situation, if during these 3 months, supposing the company paid some dividend, should I, in that situation, should that dividend also be reflected in the futures price? The answer is yes. So in that situation, we are going to add the interest amount and we are going to reduce the dividend amount. You're getting my point? So futures should theoretically trade at a fair price. Now what should be the fair price? This fair price is, it's okay Sneha, the fair price is adjusted for cost of carry. What is cost of carry? Cost of carry is the interest cost of the amount which has been actually paid for an asset on the spot purchase. So you got my point. Supposing somebody has purchased it in the spot market, kept it for you. So during this period for which the futures contract is outstanding, for that particular period of time, whatever interest cost is involved, that will be added to the spot market price to find out the future market price. Cost of carry is also adjusted for dividends receivable in case of equities, right? So that means interest cost over this period minus the dividend yield. And in most of the situations, in general situations, the future price will be at a premium from the spot price. Why? Because an interest cost always is going to be added, right? So in most of the situations, the fair price, the fair price of the futures market would be more than the spot market, unless the market is very, very pessimistic. In most of the situations, the future would be trading at a premium from the spot market. For example, let us just try to find out the future market price. A futures contract is available on a company that pays an annual dividend of rupees 5 and whose stock is currently priced at rupees 200. Okay. Each futures contract calls for a delivery of 1000 shares of stock in 1 year, daily marking to market. The corporate treasury bill rate is 8%. Given the above information, what should be the price of one futures contract be? 8% is the rate of interest and 5 rupees is the annual dividend per share. So on 200 rupees, if I add 8%, because the contract is for 1 full year, so therefore I do not have to take up any period less than an year for this particular contract. So 200 multiplied by 8% is equal to 16 rupees. It should be 216 then, but we are going to get a dividend also of rupees 5. So that means 216 minus 5 is 211, Abhishek. Is 211, right? Okay. Now Ganesh, here the purchaser may or may not be a broker. It is somebody who has purchased, whether he has purchased it for you or for somebody else. But because in the market there is a buyer and the buyer has bought it today, we are taking it as a checking rate, right? We're just taking it as for the purpose of our own calculations. This is an assumption which I am taking, that supposing someone has purchased it today for you. I'm not saying that someone will definitely purchase it for you, right? We're just saying that supposing if someone has purchased for you and if he keeps it, what would be the cost of carry? Okay? So if the company's stock price decreases, now what happens? Today when we were in the market, 200 was the spot price and the future price was 211. Now the very next day, the stock price of the company decreases by 7%. Will there be any change in the futures price? The very next day, the stock price decreases by 7%. Will there be any change in the futures price? Sneha says no. Okay. What does Ganesh has to say and what does Abhishek has to say? And what does Sindhura has to say? Sindhura also says no. Okay. See, there is a difference between understanding. There's a difference between understanding. Let me just clarify it. See, the price at which you entered into the contract will not change. Definitely not change. You yesterday entered into a contract to buy 1000 shares of the stock after a period of an year at a price of rupees 211. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. That price is not going to change. But today when the market opened, can there be a new price for the same contract? The answer is yes. Today when the market opened and somebody else wants to buy it, of course there will be a new price because the market has fallen by 7%, so the futures will also be accordingly impacted. So 200 rupees minus 7% would be equal to how much? Minus 14. It would be 186. On 186, I will calculate now 8%. And minus rupees 5. You're getting my point? So basically, what I want to say over here is that Mr. A entered into a contract on say 18th of October to buy 1,000 shares at say rupees 211 yesterday on today on 18th of October. Tomorrow, if the price is lower, he may come out of his contract, he may continue with his contract, he may enter into a new contract. The price, so it means buyers would be less in the future. It may be so, right? If the price has gone down, that may be because of the selling pressure. You're getting my point? So every day there would be a new price, but the price at which you have entered into the contract is now fixed. If you do not want to continue with the contract, you can sell the contract and come out of the transaction. Is it clear? Is it getting clear? Surely, or do I need to give more examples here? It should be absolutely clear, right? Okay. So as a result, I will sell the contract at 216. 216 was not the price available. Okay. See, Sindhura, I'm just trying to give you a very localized kind of an example. What happened is that supposing you and I, we went to the market yesterday. We went to a vegetable market. And supposing you needed, for a party at your place, after 1 month, you needed, say, 100 kgs of tomatoes. And the price that was fixed between you and the seller was, say, rupees 10 per kg. I'm taking a very simple example. So, we went to the market on 18th of October and we fixed a price of rupees 10 per kg for 100 kgs of tomatoes, which will be delivered to you after 1 month. After 2 days, we again went to the market and we realized that the price in the market for now these same tomatoes are available for delivery after 1 month now at rupees 8. Is it possible or not? But you have entered into a contract for rupees 10. Right, so that's what I'm trying to say. The market price will go up and down, but the price at which you have entered into the contract remains the same. Now, if the contract is sellable, what you will do? You can either continue with the contract or you may book a loss of rupees 2 and sell the contract. And you may think that no, the prices are falling, so maybe after 1 month I will be getting it for rupees 6. Why should I continue with the contract at rupees 10? Up to you. If you want to sell the contract, you can, but you will have to book a loss of rupees 2 in that situation. Clear? Okay. Now, it goes further. As a result of the company's stock price decrease, will an investor that has a long position in one futures contract of this company realizes a gain or loss? Why? What will be the amount of this gain or loss? Now, you can calculate it. Would you like to calculate it yourself? Now, the company's stock price has gone down by 7%. What would be the futures price? Do you want to calculate it? $186. Let me just check. Why should it be 186? Yes. No, it is not 186. You have simply taken, no, Ganesh, you're getting it wrong. What you have done is, you are giving me the spot market price. The spot market price is reduced by 7%. I'm asking about the future market price. So that means that if the spot market is 186, what is the future market price? Yes, then you will be adding interest and then you will be reducing dividend to it. So would you like to calculate it? On 186, you will be adding interest and reducing the dividend. 195.88. Okay. Now my question is that as a result of the stock price decrease, will an investor that has a long position in one futures contract of this company realizes a gain or a loss? What does the investor get? The gain or a loss? He gets a loss of how much? What is the amount of loss? 20.12. Okay, let me just check. How did you calculate this? Because the gain is getting a little lesser than. It should be 15.12, not 20.12. Again you're taking 216. You have to take 211. 5 रुपए आपने माइनस नहीं किया, right? It is 211 minus 195.88. Okay, this is the amount of, and because the lot size is 1000 units, so therefore he would be having a loss of 15,120 rupees. Okay? Another one. Ravi buys 1000 shares of FPS Limited at 22 per share and obtains a complete hedge of shorting. Just understand, Ravi has bought 1000 shares of a company at rupees 22. Now this he has bought in the spot market. This you have to understand from the language, because he buys, that means he's bought in the spot market, and obtains a complete hedge of shorting 400 nifties at 1100 each. Now he is in a short position. See, in the futures market you will have short positions and long positions, and in the spot market you will buy and sell. So the terminology you should not get confused. In the spot market you will buy and sell the shares, and in the futures market you will have a long position and you will have a short position. Is it getting clear? Difference समझ में आ रहा है? Okay. So he has bought 10,000 shares at rupees 22 per share in the spot market and obtains a complete hedge of shorting 400 nifties at 1100 each. He has sold 400 nifties at 1100 each. He closes out his position at the closing price of the next day, at which point the shares of FPS have dropped by 2% and Nifty future has dropped by 1.5%. You have to find out his overall profit or loss of this set of transactions. The question is getting clear? He has got two positions, one in the spot market, one in the futures market. The very next day, the prices in the spot market have dropped by 2% and the prices in the futures market has dropped by 1.5%. You have to find out, and he closes his positions. He has closed his positions now. Close means whatever he has bought, he has sold. Whatever he had sold, he had bought. So now you have to find out the profit or loss of this set of transactions. Would you like to give it a try, or should I help you? In future, he has a short position. Now he will be closing it by entering into a long position. Just give it a try, of course. I'm waiting for you. Okay, first tell me whether he will have a 11,000 is the overall loss. Oh my god, no, that's a little too much. Let us just try and understand. He has bought 10,000 shares at rupees 22 each, right, in the spot market. So he has invested 2,20,000 in the spot market. Fine. Okay. Now what has happened is the spot market has dropped by 2%. So he will incur a loss at the rate of 2%. Okay. So this will be a loss of rupees 4,400. This will be a loss of rupees 4,400. Yes or no? Yes. Now let me look at the futures position. Here he had a complete hedge of shorting 400 Nifties at 1100 each. So he had sold Nifty at 1100 each. So that means he has got a selling position. I generally write selling position with a minus. So 4,40,000 rupees he had worth goods he had sold. Now the next day Nifty has dropped by 1.5%. So when Nifty goes down by 1.5%, why minus? Because we in the language of the share market, a long position or a buying position is denoted by a plus sign, and a short position or a selling position is denoted by a minus sign. It's just like that, because I'm familiar to that market. That is why I'm using this term. Okay. So now here when you are having when the market drops by 1.5%, when the market drops by 1.5%, so he will be having a profit, because on 4,400 rupees he had a loss. Now he will be having a profit. How much? Because why he will have a profit? Why he will have a profit? Because he had sold it and the price has gone down, right? So 4,400 multiplied by 1.5 is how much? कितना होगा? 44 plus, no, he will 66 होता है. So his profit would be of 2,200 rupees. His profit will be of 2,200 rupees. So Sindhura, it's fine now? Are you happy? Yes. Got it? No, actually, in this, I understand. The negative is okay. You can leave it. Don't write it negative. Okay? Simply, I said because I'm used to that language, that is why I'm using a negative. You can simply write it as sell, like they've written. They've written Nifty short. I had used a negative in place of short. That was it. That was it all about. Okay. So what I was, not ma'am, but in short market you said that it is taken as negative. No. The short position is denoted as a negative sign. So because you see, when we talk about capital market, just try and understand, Sindhura. In the capital market, the transactions happen at a flick of a second. So if I have to, in general, if I have to tell somebody to do something in this market, I want to use my the limited language that I can. Right? So when I have to sell, I use minus. And so we simply ask, what is your plus position? What is your minus position in the market? You're getting my point? This is a terminology that is being used by the brokers in the market because they want to work in a very fast speed, because this market is a speed based market. Okay? No, Sneha, you're getting it wrong. Short means he's selling. No, it is very clearly mentioned in the question. He's shorting 400 Nifties. He is not selling any of those shares which were there with him in 10,000 shares, etc., etc. Right? Now he is entering into a new transaction in the futures market where he is selling Nifty. Okay? So, is it clear completely? Any questions? Now, yeah, I was telling about Ganesh's comment. See, Ganesh, actually in the futures market, with respect to the derivatives chapter, you will take more time to understand the question than the time that you will spend in answering it. This also happened with you all in the exam preparatory when I had given you the question. Some of you, that is why I had asked also to one of you or two of you, I asked from you that did you spend a lot of time reading the question or did you spend a lot of time trying to solve it? And you said, ma'am, both the things. Also, we were reading and also we were trying to solve it. What I want to say here is that in a chapter relating to derivatives, spend your maximum time in understanding the question. Just try and understand this, Sneha, once again, because every term will have a meaning. Ravi buys 10,000 shares of FPS. As I said, when it is written buys, that means the transaction is happening in the spot market. And in this particular market, as I was discussing with you a few minutes ago, another important aspect is that in this market, people speak very little and do transactions of a very high amount. So in the question also, the words that will be used will be very limited, and you will have to understand as to what the examiner wants to ask out of this particular transaction. So with the limited words, you have to understand the question. That is why you have to read the question very, very carefully. He could have written Ravi buys 10,000 shares of FPS in the spot market. He has not written that. Because everybody knows in this market that if you have bought something, that cannot be in the futures market. In the future market, you can simply have a position, a buying position or a selling position, a short position or a long position. But you cannot buy or sell the shares in this futures market. Okay? So Ravi buys 10,000 shares of FPS Limited at 22 per share. Right? So that is in the spot market, and obtains a complete hedge. So in order to hedge this transaction, it has shorted 400 Nifties at 1100 each. Now he could have written again it completely that he has, and in order to hedge his existing exposure, Ravi decides to short or decides to sell or decides to take a short position in 400 Nifty contracts at rupees 1100 each. He has not written it like that because he is using the language which is being used in the trade. So he obtains a complete hedge of shorting 400 Nifties at 1100 each. This is too much that they've written. In this market, they speak only in the language of decimals. If I ask you what is the price of FPS going on, he will say 5 paisa, 10 paisa. You would say, what is this? 5 paisa, 10 paisa? Because they say that 22 is known to everybody. That FPS, because they are playing, they're doing the transactions in the, with respect to get a profit on every paisa. So the differential between 5 paisa, 22 rupees 5 paisa may be the buying quote, and 22 rupees 10 paisa is the selling quote. And on that only the transactions are happening. See, if I'm talking about Infosys might be available in the market for 1537 rupees. If you ask the price in the market and somebody tells you Infosys 1537, he would be wasting his time. He will simply say 537 because everybody knows that it is going in the range of thousands. You're getting my point? So this is a market where we use very limited words. So you have to understand from the limited words only. So each Nifty contract is 1100 each. Yes, now you got it. Okay? Now you got it, Sneha? He closes out his position at the closing price of the next day. Closes out his position means he has sold what he had bought. He had bought what he had sold. Okay? And then the transaction is clear to you. Okay? Chaliye. So you have to understand the language of this trade. There are two ways of doing it. One, you can go and sit with some of the brokers for a period of 4-5 days, 6 days. You can just see as to how they're talking, or you can read good books and then you would be familiar with the language. He's hedging to compensate possible loss in the spot market share. Very good. Yes, you're getting it now. So now from the futures market, I wanted to move to options. But before I do that, let me give you an introduction. See, basically, when I was discussing with you about futures, I told you that in the futures market, if you enter into a transaction at a particular price, now that price is frozen for you. So the transaction, whenever it will be settled against that price. So in this particular case where he has taken a position of shorting 1100 Nifties Now, whenever he will be closing the position, in that situation, he will have to buy Nifty, right? He will have to buy Nifty, and then whatever is the differential. If Nifty goes down, he will be having a profit. If Nifty goes up, he will be having a loss, right? So in all situations, he has to close the transaction at 1100 only. Now, supposing this person says that no, I don't like this. What I want is that if Nifty goes down 1100, then I would like to close this position. If Nifty goes up 1100, in that situation, I should be given a choice whether I want to continue with this particular contract or not. Just try and understand. Like myself and Sindhura, we went to the market and we said that we would be buying 100 kgs of tomatoes after 1 month at rupees 10 per kg. Right? That's what we did. So now, in case we have to close this transaction, either we have to wait for 1 full month and then, either take the delivery of tomatoes and pay 10 rupees per kg, or, whatever is the prevailing market price, we can get the differential, or we can pay the differential and get the tomatoes from anywhere. Another thing is, now Sindhura says that, ma'am, I do not like this, because again the uncertainty is still there, because if the price of tomatoes goes down from 10 rupees to 5 rupees, I still have to close the transaction at 10 rupees. This is something which I do not like. So then there is another market which is available for her, that is called an options market. If she goes with me to the options market, we'll get her a contract where she has got a choice to buy the tomatoes at 10 rupees per kg. After 1 month, she can buy 100 kgs of tomato at 10 rupees per kg. But in case the price of tomato goes to 5 rupees per kg, she may decide not to continue with that contract. Simply go in the spot market and buy at 5 rupees. If the price after 1 month turns out to be 15 rupees, she would be getting the tomatoes at rupees 10. This sounds very attractive. This sounds very interesting, isn't it? If the price goes up, your price is freeze at 10 rupees. But if the price goes down, then you are free to buy it at 5 rupees as well. Do you need that kind of a choice? Do you need that kind of a choice? Yes or no? Yes, everybody needs it. So the market says we'll be giving you this kind of a choice, but you will have to pay a premium for this, because you are now looking for a premium service, so you have to pay a premium for it. Okay? So you would say, okay, then fine, tell me what is the premium. Market says that again the premium will be determined by certain factors. Now what are those factors? The factors are the probability of increase in price to 15 and the probability of decrease in price to rupees 5. Whichever is the higher probability, based upon that we would be charging the premium amount. If it is more probable that the price will go to 15 rupees, in that situation I'll be charging a higher premium, because you would be buying from me at 10 rupees. But if there is a higher probability that the price will decline to 5 rupees, then the premium will be very low. Right? Yes or no? Okay. So that is what is option all about. An option is a contract which gives the buyer the right. The buyer of the option gets the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell an underlying asset at a specific price on or before a certain date. So here the buyer of the option gets the right but not the obligation. So he has a choice, right? He may continue with the contract, he may decline the contract. But the choice is to either buy something or to sell something which is an underlying asset at a specific price on or before a certain date. I'll just explain it again. Now what happens? Supposing now Sindhura now did not want to buy tomatoes. She wanted to sell maybe, her her shares. She wanted to sell her shares. Now, in the case of selling also, she wants a choice, because she has become used to the choices. So she says that I would like to sell my shares of company A, B and C after 1 month for rupees 100. But if the price in the market turns out to be rupees 120, I would not like to sell it to you. Market says, okay, pay us a premium and take the choice. So you can pay the premium for a selling transaction and you can pay the premium for a buying transaction. Right? You can pay the premium for a selling transaction and you can pay a premium for a buying transaction. Right? And you can get the shares. Or you can get the tomatoes and sell the shares, whichever way it is applicable to you. Fine with us? Premium amount will vary from transaction to transaction. Of course, premium amount will vary from transaction to transaction. Premium amount will vary from hour to hour. Premium amount will vary from day to day. But once you have freezed the contract, then that premium will be applicable to your transaction. Based upon so many factors, probability, minute to minute also, fraction of a minute also. Okay? But the moment, no, it's not variable cost. No, don't get confused with this. It's a market. Like you went to the sabzi mandi, the price of the tomato is rupees 10 per kg right now. You entered into a contract to buy 100 kgs of tomatoes after 1 month. Okay? After 1 hour when you went to the market, supposing 10 rupees per kg is not available. It is available at 9.5, 10.5, 8.5, whatever. With, at every minute the price in the market changes depending upon the buyers and sellers and a lot of things. It's a market, right? Do not take it to costing. It's a market. And in this particular market, the prices are fluctuating. Okay? And the prices are fluctuating at the speed, at the fraction of a second, and that is why I said that we do not use very long language in this particular market. Because by the time I explain to you in my language what is to be done, the price will move away. Right? Means based upon the market scenarios, it is sold or bought as per the party's agreement. Yes. Whatever is the price which is prevailing in the market, the parties agree on that particular price, but that particular price is available to you only for a fraction of a second. Okay? No, it is not OTC. It's not type of an unsystematic risk as well. No. It is a transaction which is happening on the stock. In the case of OTC, prices are not running away anywhere. You and me are sitting, and if we have to decide a particular price, we will do that. We can sit and have a cup of tea also and then we can decide the price. No, I am talking about this fluctuation in the market based upon the stock exchange prices. Okay, so prices are fluctuating only in the stock exchange. When when a particular transaction is happening over the counter, then the prices are not fluctuating. Then we can decide upon the price at our convenience. Okay, one more question came up was, it's a type of unsystematic risk. Why? From where does this come? I understand that, but from where does that come to your mind? How are you relating it to the unsystematic risk? But what would there be no regulation on the prices? I'll come to this as well. Just a second. It's fluctuation in the market, yes. So it's an unsystematic risk, no? Fluctuation in the market is denoted by systematic risk, Ganesh. Beta shows you the fluctuation in the market. Right? Wherever there is a market, there is a systematic risk. Unsystematic risk is only in case of individual transactions. Okay? Individual companies. When we're talking for the full market, we're talking about the systematic risk only. Now, someone was saying some regulation. What would there be no regulation on the prices? Why should there be a regulation on price in the market? Why is there a market? Why is there a market? Why is there a market? Tell me. Why do we have a market? to sell and to buy. Agreed. Very true. The market is there to sell and buy, to make profit. Yeah, that's beautiful. To make profit. Now, do we have any market in which prices are fixed by anybody? Is there any regulator in the market who fixes the price? The answer is no. The prices are decided nowhere. So prices are decided by the forces of demand and supply. In this market, when we talk about any of the financial markets, the prices vary very fast, and that is why people are able to make intraday trades as well, and you are able to make good amount of money on intraday. There are people who are making a handsome profit of around 10 to 15,000 rupees per day in the intraday, right? They buy in the morning or they sell in the morning, and by the time it is evening they buy, or they buy in the morning and by the time it is evening they sell. And by not investing even a single penny, they're able to make a good amount of money in this market, right? So it is because the prices in this market, they are changing at a very fast speed, because all the computers of all the brokers and of all the this ICICI Direct and a lot of internet e-trading portals, all of them are working on a real-time basis. Real-time basis means that if you click the button here today, right now, your transaction is going to impact the stock market price. Every transaction impacts the stock market price. Now, how does that do that? Because baat ho rahi hai, to I thought let me use some more examples here. Supposing Abhishek and Sneha, they are entering into the stock market. They do not know each other. Right now also, you are here on this particular terminal, you don't know each other. Okay? Now, but your name, not your name, but your code will come on the terminal if you're on a broker's terminal. So Abhishek says that I want to buy 100 shares at rupees. What should be the quote, Abhishek? कितने पे खरीदना चाहेंगे किसी कंपनी के shares? You want to say something? Okay, I'll take it. At rupees 200. Okay. And for the same company, Sneha says that I want to sell 50 shares for rupees 201. Now, obviously, the seller will ask for a higher price and the buyer will quote a lower price, isn't it? This happens even in case of a property transaction. You want to go and buy a property, and the buyer says 50 lakh rupees, the seller says no, 60 lakh rupees. So this is how the market then settles the price. So Sneha says that I want to sell it for 201, and Ganesh says I want to sell 100 shares for rupees 202. Right? So now Abhishek has got two sellers who are ready to sell the shares, but the price that they are quoting is higher than the price at which he wants to buy. So till the time either Abhishek increases his price or Sneha or Ganesh decrease their price, this contract is not going to happen. Right? Right? Okay. Now assuming that someone else, in this market, let us take Dipali. Supposing Dipali says that, no, I am not interested in this 1-2 rupees game. I want to buy 1,000 shares. I want to buy 1,000 shares and I'm okay with whatever price I get. So what will happen? See, she simply punches that I want to buy 1,000 shares at the market price. Now, what will happen? 50 shares of Sneha will go to Dipali. 100 shares of Ganesh will go to Dipali at rupees 202. Now Dipali has purchased 150 shares in the market. She still is having a demand for 850 shares, but the price, both these transactions have gone from the market. Now she is ready to buy at the market price. Supposing there is no seller, then in that situation, they will say that there is no seller for this particular price. The last transaction was at 202 rupees. Sorry. at 202 rupees. So Dipali is ready to buy for 202 rupees, or in case there is someone who comes in the market now. He says, I'm ready to sell 700 shares for rupees 201. Now his shares will be straight away sold to Dipali at 201, right? Because she's ready to pay 202 and he's ready to sell it even at 201. So this is the way the transactions keep on matching on a real-time settlement basis. So the prices you saw in this particular small minute presentation, we changed the price from 200 to 201 to 202, again to 201. You're getting my point? So this is how the market keeps on moving the entire day. With every transaction, the prices change. Now for Sneha and for Ganesh, the price is fixed because they have sold their 50 shares and 100 shares for 201 and 202 rupees. So for them, they will be getting 201 and 202 rupees respectively for their shares. Okay? Whatever happens to the market, even if the market goes to 1990 or wherever the market goes, they would be getting, because they've already come out of the market. They've already sold their shares. Clear? So this market keeps on changing the entire day. Okay? Yes, so basically it is satisfying maximum buyers and sellers at the same time. It works on a very simple fundamental, that if the buyer and seller are ready to pay the same price, if they come together for the same share and at the same price, then they meet and the transaction happens. And then the next best buyer and the next best seller come and they try to match their prices. So what the exchange is doing, it is matching the prices of the buyers and sellers and getting the contracts done through the help of information technology. Is it as volatile as spot market? Of course. The futures market is also as volatile as spot market, because this future market price is adjusting accordingly. As you just saw, in the last example, we said that the spot market declined by 7%. So because of the interest rate, because the spot and future are interlinked. So the future also adjusted accordingly. Otherwise, people will start making arbitrage profits. Okay? Therefore, no place for so far as market players are concerned, anybody who observe this market for a period of 3 to 4 days, he can understand this market. It's not something which is very different, very difficult or anything like that. In this market, there are many people who are simply graduates or even less than graduates, and who are able to make good amount of money. It's a market where it only works on calculation. That's it. So this market has got nothing very, very difficult or very, very peculiar about it. It's like any other market, but you should be good with the calculations and you should be able to do fast calculations, because the prices are moving very fast. So if you're able to do your calculations fast, you are the right player for this particular market. Now, when we talk about options, so options is a separate segment altogether. So let us understand the language of this options market. So the language is underlying. What is an underlying? An underlying is, you know what is an underlying in the derivative? Any asset for which the derivatives is created. Similarly, in options also, option is also a derivative. So option will also have a underlying. Sorry. So it will have it can be a stock option. It can be an interest rate option. It can be a foreign exchange option. So an option can be on any underlying, right? It can be a commodity option. So, but in case of entering into an option contract, as we've already discussed, the buyer of the option has to pay a premium to the seller of the option, right? Because the buyer is getting a choice. The seller is not getting a choice. So therefore, whosoever buys the option will be required to pay the premium. What is premium? Premium is the cost of getting the option. Because you're getting the facility, because you're getting the option, because you're getting the choice, so you have to pay the premium. It is the difference between the higher price paid for the security and the security's face amount at the issue. I will be discussing this calculation with you, so don't get confused with the language here. It is basically the sum of options intrinsic and time value. I would be discussing this with the help of an example. Now in every option contract you will have an exercise price. What is the exercise price? The price at which the option will be exercised. Like in the last example we said that that Sneha said that she would be buying the tomatoes at rupees 10, right? So the exercise price was rupees 10. She may exercise the option, she may not exercise the option. But the price, if the option will be exercised, in that situation it will be exercised at rupees 10. So it is the price at which, it is a predetermined price at which the underlying asset can be bought or sold if the option buyer exercises his option to buy the asset or to sell the asset on or before the expiration date. No. In 202 and 201 in the example I was discussing with you about the spot market. Right now I'm talking about the futures market, and that too in that I'm talking about the options. Okay. So there will be a last date up to which the option can be exercised. So you can say that you have got the last date, right? So up to that particular date you can exercise your option. And exercising the option means that you will be doing what you had promised for, what you had decided for. So that means if I say that Sneha will buy those tomatoes at 10 rupees per kg, she would be exercising her option. Okay, she will be exercising. Supposing she says that no, the tomatoes are available for 5 rupees a kg, why should I buy? Yes, it works on similar terms as ESOPs, very rightly said. ESOP is also an option, right? ESOP also has got a word, employee stock option plan, right? So option, wherever it says, it gives you a choice whether you want to continue with the contract or you do not want to continue with the contract. So if you decide, yes, so if you decide to continue, that means you exercise your option. And if you do not decide to continue, in that situation you do not exercise your option. Simple. The exercise date is the date on which the option will be exercised, right? Now there are two kinds of options, European style option and American style option. In case of European style option, you can exercise the option only on the date which has been specified. So if we say that Sneha entered into a contract to buy 100 kgs of tomatoes at rupees 10 per kg, she has not entered into a contract, she has entered into an option contract. So in this situation, if the option contract gives her the liberty to exercise her option at any time during this 1 month, then it is an American style option. But if the contract says that no, you will be given a choice only on one day, that is say on 30th of November, in that situation it's a European style option. In the American style option, you will have an option for the complete month. You can exercise it any point of time. But in the European style of option, you would be given one particular date on which the choice will be given to you. Is it clear? The more the choice, the higher the premium. Isn't it? So in India, index options are European options and stock options are American options. In stocks, you can exercise the option at any point during which the contract is open, and in index options, you have to exercise the option only on the given date. But in examination, whatever questions are given to you, generally we give you a question on European style option only. Yeah, only in European a single date is valid. Okay, so in most of the examination questions, we are talking about European style options only. So in this you have an option holder, that is the buyer of the option who has paid the premium. You have got the option seller who has given you the option and has charged you the premium. Someone will be getting the premium and someone will be giving the premium. The person who gets the option gives the premium. The person who gives the option gets the premium. Right? ठीक है? ठीक है जी? I hope it is not getting a little too much. सही जा रहे हो? Anything if you want to stop? Okay. Perfect. So now we are further taking it. We said that the buyer of the option, buyer of the option, what does he do? He pays the premium or he gets the premium? He pays the premium. Perfect. So the buyer of the option can buy the right to buy, right, by paying a premium. He may decide to buy these shares or buy these products after a particular period of time, or he can buy the right to sell, right? When he can buy the right to buy, we can say that he is long on the, okay, I'll just say, he can buy. Now, in the futures market, when we talk about buying position, what the language we use, we say he's got a long position, right? Right? So, that means the buyer of the option can have a long position or can be long on the, now right to buy is called call option. He can be long on the call option. This is the language that we use in this market. So he has a long position on the call option. Call option means the right to buy. Okay? Is it fine? And he can be long on a put option. Long on a put option means that he has purchased the right to sell. Right? So if the buyer of the option can have these two kinds of transactions, the seller of the option will be, he will be getting the premium. Okay? He can be short. Right to sell how? Okay, now let me first answer this. See, Sneha can, as I said, Sneha can go to the market because it's a market where you can be a buyer or you can be a seller. So she can go to the market and she can say that I want to sell 100 kgs of tomatoes at rupees 10 per kg. Can she do that? Okay. Now supposing she does not want to freeze the price, so she says that I want to buy the right to sell 100 kgs of tomatoes at rupees 10 per kg. If the market price on the date of exercising the option, if on the last date or if on the date of exercise, if the market price would be 15 rupees a kg, I will not exercise this option. Why will I sell it to you for 10 rupees a kg when the market is giving me 15 rupees a kg? Right? So now she has purchased the right to sell. ठीक है? ठीक है? Now the seller of the option would be getting the premium. Okay? So he would be having a reverse position. So he can be short on a call option. What does this mean? What does this mean? If somebody is short on a call option, what does this mean? He is selling. What is he selling? Having the right to sell. No. He is selling the right to buy. Just understand. Call option is a right to buy. He is selling the right to buy. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है समझ में? Right? So he is the person with whom Sneha met. Yeah, this is from seller's point of view. Okay? And the seller can be short on a put option. What does this mean? What sell? What sell? He is selling the right to sell. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now let me ask you something. If I am long on a put option, what does this mean? If I am long on a put option, what does this mean? No. I am long on a put option. Buying the right to sell. Perfect. Very good. Very, very good. So, in this situation, do I have to pay the premium or I will collect the premium? You will pay the premium. Right. Very well said. So, if I say that I am short on a call option, what does this mean? Selling the right to buy. I am short on a call option, Sindhura. I am short on a call option. Okay? So now you would be getting the premium or you will be paying the premium? You will be getting the premium. You would not be paying the premium. You would be getting the premium. Perfect. Good, good, good. So one review question, and I think this will be my last question for today. I do not want to confuse you more. Identify the profit or loss ignoring dealing costs and interest in each of the following cases. Because you've got the clarity, I want the answer. A put option with exercise price of rupees 250 is bought for a premium of rupees 42. A put option with exercise price of rupees 250 is bought for a premium of rupees 42. The price of underlying share is rupees 189 at the expiry date. Tell me whether in this particular transaction there will be a profit or there will be a loss. Profit, okay. Profit, kitna? What will be the amount of profit? Okay, let us understand that there is a profit. What is the amount of profit? And why there is a profit? That is also a question. 208 minus 189 is equals to 19. Perfect. Why loss, Ganesh? See, a person who buys the option is never at a loss. This is one rule which I am telling you. You've bought an option. You've paid a premium for that. Why will you incur a loss? Okay? And in case there will be a loss, it will be only the loss of the premium amount. Maximum loss in case of an option contract would be the loss of a premium amount. Okay? Now, just understand. He has purchased the put option. That means he has... No, it does not include the premium amount. Let me explain the question again to you. A person has purchased the put option with an exercise price of rupees 250. What does this mean? That he has purchased the right to sell the security at rupees 250. Okay? And for that he has paid a premium of rupees 42. So this premium has already gone out of his pocket. This is not adjustable. This is not refundable. Right? So he has already paid the premium. So that means whatever he gets, whatever is the market price, he can maximum get 208 rupees out of this transaction, because 250 is his exercise price and he has already paid a premium of rupees 42. So maximum price that he can get from this particular transaction is 208 rupees. Yes or no? But the market price went to as low as 189. So when the market price went to as low as 189, he has made a profit. He has been able to sell it for 208 rupees when the market is quoting a price of 189. This case is to buy the right to sell. Of course, yes. Put option hai. It's a case of a put option. Okay? Got it? Is it clear? Perfect. Let me go to the next question. Pakka clear ho gaya na? No doubts at all, because I would be further increasing the level in the next part. Okay? Again, a put option with an exercise price of rupees 300, clear hai? Is written for a premium of rupees 57. Is written for a premium of rupees 57. Is written for a premium of rupees 57. The price of the underlying share is rupees 314 at the expiry date. The price of the underlying is rupees 314 at the expiry date. What would be the profit or loss situation? $43 profit, 71 loss. My God, दोनों गलत है. Both of them are wrong. Anybody else? Just read the question again, Sneha and Sindura. In these kinds of questions, take your time. As I said, understand the question carefully and then only answer it. Don't be fast. Should I wait more? Or should I tell you the answer? Okay. Okay. Written by seller. Yes, very good. Now you're going on the right track. 43. Nahi. No. A put option with an exercise price of rupees 300 is written for a premium of rupees 57. The price of the underlying share is rupees 314 at the expiry date, Dipali. हाँ जी, कितना प्रॉफिट निकाला गणेश? 43 profit. Now, let me explain. A put option is written with an exercise price of rupees 300. Who writes the option? Who is an option writer? The buyer of the option or the seller of the option? Who is the option writer? The seller of the option is the option writer. The seller of the option gets the premium or pays the premium? He gets the premium. Perfect. So, the seller of the option has got these rupees 57. That is clear to us? Okay. The price of the underlying share is 314 at the expiry date. I have sold an option for rupees 300. I have sold the right to sell at rupees 300 when the market price is 314. Do you think that the buyer of the option will exercise his option? Something which is available in the market, which he can sell in the market for 314, will he be selling it to you for rupees 300? If I can sell my property for rupees 5 lakhs, will I sell it for rupees 3 lakhs? No. Right? So the buyer of the option will not exercise his option. And I am happy with rupees 57 which I have got. So my profit as a seller of the option is rupees 57. Why are you reducing 14 from it? Because that is not my loss. That is not my loss. I had sold a particular option and I got rupees 57. The buyer did not come back to, like that is like, you came to my shop and you said that, ma'am, I may join your classes. You came to my classes. You said that I may join your classes. I may not join your classes. I said, okay, I give you a choice. You pay me rupees 500. So you gave me rupees 500 and you joined somewhere else. Now this 500 is my money, right? I'm not refunding it to you. It is not even adjustable. Whatever you did, you took your own decision. No problem. Buyer will sell directly in the market. Got my point? समझ में आया? So here, in the first case, the put option will be exercised because the price of the underlying is 189, the premium paid is 42, so the profit is 19. This you had all calculated. In the second case, exercise price is rupees 300. Put option is written on exercise price at a premium of rupees 57. On the expiry date, put option will not be exercised against the investor because the market price is higher. So the profit position will be equal to the amount of premium received, that is rupees 57. Okay? Is it getting clear? So with this kind of the introduction of options market, I'm leaving you in the options market. You can study because this is a market which has got lots and lots and lots and lots of strategies. Because you are now in the options segment, right? And options will give you it can give you a lot of strategies. You can decide to buy the share in the spot market, take an option to sell it in the futures market. Along with that, you can also take an option to buy it in the futures market. You can have two options in the futures market. You can have one spot market transaction. You may not have any transaction in the spot market. You can have two transactions in the futures market. One where you're buying the option, another when you're selling the option. You can have n number of combinations in this option segment because a whole lot of choices are now available to you, right? So I'm leaving you here in the options market. You can think about, you can read about this market till the time we start it again in the next class on coming Thursday, right? So we will come back with questions. Surely you must. If investor want liquidity, yes, so he can sell the option. These options can be sold. I purchase this option from you for rupees. This is not something which is going in the over the counter segment. I purchase the option from the exchange by paying a premium of rupees 30. Now the same option as it is can be sold to the next person, say at a premium of rupees 35. So I make a profit of rupees 5 in the options market. That is also possible. Okay? So you can get you can have enough of liquidity on the options segment as well. Though generally this does not happen. People who enter into options, because they've got, you've got European styles options and the American style option. So in that situation, if it is an American style option, what is the need of selling the option? You can simply close the option on any particular date. But if it is a European style option, then we need liquidity by way of selling the options. Okay? I really enjoy, teaching this kind of chapters, but it's still, it takes a lot of time to register because this is a new terminology altogether. And I love this subject because I have dealt in this market. I've seen people becoming so rich, and I've seen people becoming so poor in this market. So this is something which fascinates me, definitely. It is something which and I have myself also, personally speaking, I have lost and I have earned in this market. Not I haven't taken very large